Okay, so try and get you guys through this as quickly as possible. When and where is class? So all classes are 5:30 to 8:30. Yes.
Are you doing that right now?
I just joined the Zoom
Okay.
in. Yeah. 5:30 through 8:30, Monday through Thursday. We try to take a 20 to 30 minute break around 7 o'clock. Feel free to bring dinner for the in-person classes. I know it's a short time, but Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30. I have this schedule linked, and we'll be sending you a copy of all of these slides tonight as well. So you'll be able to access all of the links in here. In-person classes are primarily at the beginning and end of the program. So next week will be all in person. That's going to be at the Muser-Lean Computer Lab located at the library on campus at Lemoyne. That will be for the first week of classes. Then we go fully virtual. That will all be through Zoom, and we'll be doing some practice Zoom sessions as well to make sure you're all set up and able to screen share before we break from in-person classes. We have done one cohort fully in person, we've done one cohort fully remote, and we've done one cohort kind of hybrid, partially in person and partially remote. And what we found is a lot of students don't like the remote learning to begin with, especially when you need help. But once you get in the swing of it, a lot of students are like, why should I even bother coming in person? This is so much easier. I have my remote workstation. Let me just join remotely. So we will be sending out a poll at the end of the first week or second week to get some options on potentially common space or co-working memberships, as well as potentially finding some space on campus here as well. But we are all set up for our first week of classes being in person. Second week and on will be fully virtual until the end of the program. So we'll keep you guys updated with venue updates and all of that. But if you want to put it in your calendar, the Muser-Lean Computer Lab, Monday through Thursday next week, 5:30 to 8:30. Bring your computers with you. That's going to be your only requirement. Computers and your phone, because you need the phone to join the Wi-Fi network. So don't forget your phone. Make sure that's all charged up. Virtual classes, we'll send you the Zoom link for them and also cover that in the first week. Student acceptance agreement. I believe all of you have now signed this. This just covers basic data provisions, kind of the agreements of the laptops, expectations and responsibilities, and the CNY sustainability agreement. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me or Jesse. Happy to answer that, anything that comes up. Any questions on that? Laptops. You guys already have them. Couple things to note on. If for some reason you don't abide by the conditions, that computer is a $1,200 computer, and so you guys are on the hook for that unless it gets returned to us. We cannot promise that you get to keep the computers at the end of the cohort. So far, for our 3 cohorts in the past, we've identified a funding partner that has allowed you to keep the laptop. However, at this time, when you either exit, unroll, or graduate from the program, it is required to turn the computer back in with the monitor as well. 30 days on that, and original price of the laptop is $11.99. They are awesome computers. You guys have the top of the line, the brand new MacBook Airs with the M2 processors. I am extremely jealous of you guys. They are awesome computers. And it's always a heart-pounding moment when I place a laptop order for like $25,000. So you guys get awesome equipment here. And do not worry if you're not familiar with a Mac. We will go through some basics in the first week of class, get you guys comfortable with them. Of course, there's a learning curve, but developing on a Mac is just so much easier than developing on Windows. Most developers do develop on Mac, and we'll make sure that you guys get comfortable on it in the first couple weeks. Make sure you know how to share your screen and get the help during live classes. This is not a college course where you're coming in and you're going to get lectured at for 3 hours. I hope we get as much engagement from you guys as I give out to you. So You'll have the opportunity to ask questions, whether the class is fully remote or in person. And even for our in-person classes, we'll have that Zoom room open. So if you're not feeling well, if you can't make it, if there's a timing concern, whatever it is, you can always join on Zoom. And all of our classes are recorded and posted to YouTube. And the reason we do that is a lot of students go back and rewatch class or want to jump to that specific snippet. We actually have a timestamp now at the bottom of our video. So when you're in class and you're like, ooh, it's 5:45 and he just said something that I want to go back and replay, you can actually jump right to that point in the video. So yeah, that's laptops. We do have something called mobile device management enabled on the laptops that just registers them as equipment for Hack Upstate. It allows us to lock the machine if you ever lose it. With that said, we cannot see what you have on your display. I know a lot of employers are intrusive and can like see what you have up and what your browsing history is and all of that stuff. We do not have that installed, but we do have mobile device management enabled. If you want more information about that, you can click on the link once we send out the slides tonight. Student support. There is $600 of stipends available to use throughout the program. Our student success representative, Jason, will help you with all of your stipend issues. I imagine he'll be reaching out in the first week or two with more details about that stipend. We also have Laura, our career coach, who you got to hear from earlier tonight. Laura is terrific. There is a reason it is called Careers in Code, because the code, while it is a major part of the curriculum, there is a major career aspect to it as well. I'm currently in the middle of interviewing for a senior job role for my company, and I cannot tell you the number of people who show up that do no research on the company, have no idea what we're doing, didn't even read the job description, but got an interview and showed up for it. And it drives me insane. Laura has so much insight into this career process and all of the steps that it takes to land a career. The program is going to fly by. So we have Laura coming in literally day one so that you got your career in mind, the seed is planted. And then all the way at week 23 of the program, almost all the way at the end, we've got Laura coming in and taking over for an entire week of instruction to make sure that you guys are prepared at the end of this course to have everything done. With that said, you'll learn more about the career stuff when Laura comes in on Monday. And finally, we have office hours and one-on-ones available. Most of the TAs and instructors have something called Calendly. If you remember, that's actually how you booked your interview through us. So you can just go on, you find out what time is available, what time works best for you, you click on it, and I'll show up, or whoever's you're booking with will be available for a one-on-one. I have had one-on-ones with students where they're just random topics of, oh, I noticed this in the industry. Can we chat about that? I have some students show up that are like, this homework is driving me crazy. Please help me with that. I've got some students who show up and just want to vent about their life. That is okay. We have one-on-ones available, and you will find that you naturally gravitate to one instructor or one TA, and that's great. There are no hard feelings. Some people have different learning styles or connect to people differently. So we'll touch on this in a second. You're going to get access to a learning management system called Canvas that will have links to all of the students' one-on-ones in addition to the schedule and YouTube links and all kinds of good stuff there. We'll touch on that in the first class as well, so you guys get comfortable with all of that. Questions? Yeah, so you guys all should have gotten an email from Canvas. The domain is not oddlycanvas.com, which they own. It's instructure.com. That is something that you should sign up for. We do have a slide coming up to touch on like what you should sign up for your first day of class. If you don't have that email and have checked your spam folder and still don't have that email, come find me. I can find a way to send you the link to sign up for it. But the email invite is usually the easiest way in. Yes.
So I know that you said that Laura will be coming in during the end of our program to talk to us about careers. Is she someone that we can utilize post-graduation as well?
Absolutely. Yes.
As a helper?
Yes. And we also are hooked into the Erie 21 as one of our partners. So you'll also have access to like Lemoyne career fairs and stuff like that as well. So that partnership continues to strengthen and blossom, and super glad to have them as partners as well. We're actually setting up to talk to a bunch of local employers, giving them our curriculum and saying, hey, this is now the 4th time that we've run this curriculum. We've made modifications. What do you think? And we're going out and we're talking to local employers to make sure that what you're learning is what they need. So we try to do as much rapid feedback as possible. Other questions? Cool. So a couple things on our tech stack. Slack is going to be your go-to for communication. You heard from many TAs saying, hey, message me, reach out to me if you need any help. They're all on Slack. If you're not familiar with Slack, like Facebook Messenger, AIM, if you want to go back into those days, text messages, but more for a workplace or community environment. You can go on to our hackupstate.com website. In the top right, there is something that says Slack. You are going to need to join that before Monday's class. It's free to sign up. Once you are in, just shoot me an email and that has your Slack username in it. And that way I will get you added to all of the student channels. On Monday, I will add you all to a CIC Student C4 channel, a live stream channel, which we'll use during class to like just quickly drop in links or stuff like that. And then you will also be part of the back channel. The back channel is a channel that I will leave on Monday. So you guys can say whatever you want in there, and I don't have any access. Jesse doesn't have any access. It will just be U20 as students. While I know that sounds a little weird, it opens the door for communication because you all just signed on for an intense 6 months. And so we try to set up that back channel early on so you guys can communicate. So that is one of your homework assignments, hackupstate.com. Up in the top right, sorry, realizing you can't see that. It says Slack. All you need to do is enter your email in there, create your account, and then shoot me an email so I know to get you added to our Slack channels. Any questions about that? We'll do a brief overview of Slack as well on the first week, just so you guys are comfortable with it. One thing to note, you may want to download that onto your phones. It is not a requirement, but we will be posting updates on class and stuff like that. You know, oh, I'm running late or the door's locked, please let me in or something like that. Slack is going to be the best way to reach out to us. I believe I am Max M on Slack, but I will get you guys all set up as soon as you send me your email, an email with your Slack username. Okay, learning management system, LMS. We have been utilizing Canvas for for last cohort, and it is a world of difference between that and Google Classroom, which is a personal hatred of mine. You should have received an email invite earlier today to Canvas. Like I said, it normally goes to spam. That's where you'll be turning in assignments. You'll be able to find all of the links. The link to Zoom to join class virtually is in there. We will have grading info in there. There will be weekly quizzes to take, little 5-question multiple choice quizzes. And you'll also have a weekend homework assignment. All of that is going to be funneled through Canvas. If you have one link and one link only in your bookmarks, Canvas should be it. And the second one should be Slack. Or download the Slack app, which is a slightly better experience. But definitely bookmark Canvas because that's going to be your go-to resource for all of your links. It may be a little barren right now. Don't worry, it definitely fills up over the course of the program, but there should be a couple links in there for you to get started with Zoom and all of that. Developer and collaboration tools. We already talked about Slack. We already talked about Zoom. If you don't have accounts created for them, go create your accounts. You also are going to want to become familiar with your Mac and download something called VS Code. Most of you probably went through that during the file management exercise. Just to note, VS Code is not Visual Studio. The VS stands for Visual Studio, but Visual Studio is an application that is gigabytes and gigabytes big that is distributed by Microsoft for professional .NET development. You do not want that. What you want is VS Code, not Visual Studio. That's another homework assignment. Get VS Code installed. We won't be using it on week 1, but good practice. Get familiar with your Mac, download it, make sure it gets into the applications folder. Okay, quick overview of the curriculum. Believe it or not, there were 24 bullets here last cohort. We have been able to simplify them down into modules to make it easier to encapsulate what you're learning. So the first week, we start with the development big picture. We talk about a stack. If you've got no idea what a tech stack is, we talk about the front end and the back end and the databases and all these acronyms that have been flying around that you haven't had anyone to ask what they really stand for. We go into project management. We'll have guest speakers coming in from Laura. On Thursday, Karen has volunteered to do professional headshots if you would like. That is certainly not a requirement, but we'll have studio grade lighting and a green screen here, and we will be capturing headshots of you if you would like. So if you want to dress up a little bit on Thursday, that is totally available to you, but again, not a requirement. After week 1, we go into HTML, hypertext markup language. These are, HTML goes all the way back to your MySpace days, right? That is the structure, the markup language that makes every website on the internet work. Every single one uses HTML. From there, we go into DevOps, part 1. Nathan Evans comes in as our guest instructor, or as a guest instructor, I should say, and teaches you all about Git and how to deploy a website, how to get your work actually up on the internet. DevOps stands for Developer Operations and is a field that's come out in the past 5 to 10 years to really focus on everything that it takes on the infrastructure to pull off your code and actually have your code go live on the internet. From there, we go to our students' absolute favorite module, JavaScript. JavaScript is what makes your code interactive. That's what allows you to start working with data. That's what allows you to have events happen in your browser code. JavaScript is where we get into the core of computer science and learn about variables and loops and all of that fun stuff. Then I get 2 weeks off and we go into APIs. Ryan Goss comes in and teaches you all about application programming interfaces. Hey, data is great, but you know it's even better getting access to it, being able to pull in other people's data and interacting with it. So we have 2 weeks of APIs. Then we have React. React is taking JavaScript and marrying it into your HTML. It's making your HTML more interactive and easier to build a website into a web application or a web app. So React is worth mentioning. Right now it is split. We do the first week of React and then you get an entire week off. Fully off, yes. So there are mobile applications are not part of our curriculum. However, there is a framework called React Native that is very similar to React itself. So once you've mastered the concepts of React, it is only a stepping stone away from going into React Native and building true native applications. We have winter break in between React. We do the first week of React, then we take the entire last week off of the year. And then we come back to finish up React. Question?
No,
okay.
Sorry.
From there, we go into databases. Hey, all of that data is great, but we need a place to be able to store all of that. So we teach SQL, SQL, structured or standardized query language. I can never remember what the S is, but it's one of those two. SQL has been around forever. You'll hear SQL and SQL pronounced. They're interchangeable. They mean the same thing. We use a database called Postgres, but that is when we learn all about query languages and how we can store and structure our data for an application. Finally, we go into full stack, also known as Node and Express, Node.js and Express. Full stack is when we get to tie it all together. We get our front end talking to our back end servers talking to our database. We kind of pull it all together, and then we bring Nathan back in, and he gets to teach all about deploying a full stack application and all of the servers that it takes to be able to pull that off. Finally, we wrap up with Laura's career module. You get an entire week of Laura's instruction. Yeah. Any questions about our curriculum and modules? Hopefully this isn't anything too scary for you. Hopefully you know a little bit of what you're getting into, but at the same time, you could say, I've got no experience with any of those, and that is okay. That is completely fine. We've got students come in who think they are rockstar HTML developers and hit JavaScript and have a really hard time. We've got people who are coming in who know none of this and hit it out of the park. You will find modules that you really like, and you will find modules that you cannot get out of fast enough. Sometimes students find that they learn more about what they don't want to be doing than what they do want to be doing, and that is okay. You could get a job and specialize in any one of these fields and do that full time. While that is kind of rare to focus in on one of those in particular, it happens, right? And we've got graduates coming out of the program who get through the whole program and they go, I don't want to do software development. I want to work with software developers. I want to do project management. And with all of these skills that you're learning here, you're going to be so much better of a project manager because you have walked a mile in the shoes of the people you are managing. So you will be fully qualified to take an entry-level beginner full stack position at the end of this boot camp. But there are so many fields that you can take this and apply it to. And I think that that's one of my favorite things about the program is seeing where people go after this program. We do have a lot of people who come out and go right into full stack web development. We have people come out and say, I'm going to take everything that I learned and go learn Python or go learn Ruby or go learn C# or all of these languages that you can take this knowledge and apply it directly to. Cool. Capstone Project. Do not worry, we don't touch Capstone until week 5. We want you guys to get momentum going, to dive into HTML, to love what you're learning. However, we touch on it at orientation or at kickoff because we want to just plant the seed. At the end of the boot camp, 6 months later, you get the opportunity to work on a project throughout the boot camp. We will have checkpoints for you at the end of most modules that have, hey, by the end of this module, you should have X, Y, and Z done on your capstone project. We have had capstones range all over the place. We have had capstones some students have done like a walking tour of downtown that pulled in GPS information and played audio files back. We had two students actually last cohort that did a grocery app that pulled in information about what grocery items were on your list and navigated you around the store in the most efficient manner. Your capstone can really be very wide ranging, but we won't start on it until 5 weeks from now. So just plant that seed in the back of your head of what do I want to build? What's the capstone project that when I get to graduation, I want to walk across that stage and say, look at this really cool thing I built. I learned how to do all of this in the past 24 weeks, and look at this cool thing that I'm ready to show off to society. That's your capstone project, and it can be very wide ranging. So just get the gears turning in the back of your mind about what you may want to do for your capstone. Actually, I heard from some of you already that you've got an idea, and I am very happy to hear that. So we will have more information about this coming, but want to just give you some exposure to it so that you know it's coming down the pipeline. Class etiquette. Hopefully some of this is common sense. You would be amazed at how much of this was not common sense in our second cohort, our first virtual cohort, because people were learning what Zoom was and they had never heard of that before. Obviously times change. Be present via video and audio. Having your video on is a requirement of class. The main reason for that is it is nearly impossible to teach to people that you cannot see their faces. I want to see that feedback. I want to see that blank look come across your face when I've lost you, right? That's the only way I can know, ooh, I didn't teach that right. I need to go back and recover that. So video and audio are a requirement for class. If for whatever reason you can't do video, or you've got a day that you're traveling and are just tuning in the car, shoot me a message on Slack. Just give me a heads up and say, hey, can't make video today. I'm tuning in. I'll catch up on the recording later. That's completely fine. We can definitely make exceptions, but for the most part, we plan for audio and video to be on and you engaging through class. Wear appropriate clothing. Classes are recorded. No, not a ton of people watch them, but they are live on YouTube. So just something to keep in mind of that. The active speaker is the only one who shows up on the YouTube recording. So that is slightly not as bad. You don't need to panic. Every day you need to come to class like fully dressed to the nines, but be aware of your background. If you have roommates or whatever, just make sure they know that you're engaging and part of class. You want to be sitting at a table or a desk. The virtual meeting is the same as attending a class, right? So you want to come in with that mindset. Utilize the mute button. You're going to be on mute for probably 95% of class. That's the way it should be, but everyone can unmute, and at any point you can just interject and say, hey, I got a question on that, and we go in and we answer the question. Zoom has a chat feature and a raise hand feature. You definitely want to utilize them. We'll have a TA for almost every class who is there monitoring chat and is whispering things into my ear. So if you don't feel comfortable asking a question, you can shoot a message to the TA and they can ask it for you. Be careful not to interrupt. I mean, if you want to just unmute and go, hey, Max, I've got a question, that's fine. But multiple people talking at the same time, Zoom doesn't necessarily hand that well. And also embrace silence. This is actually one of the hardest things for me as an instructor. I'll be giving you guys a task and say, go do this. And we'll just sit in the room for 5 minutes. And I'm like, I hope you guys are doing it, right? And then all of a sudden the polls start coming in and, all right, I got it, it's working, whatever. So there will be times where there's 5 minutes of silence, and that's also okay. Prep work and homework. This is all of your homework to do before Monday. Do not panic. We will be sending you these slides to review them. Get familiar with your laptop. Crack them open, charge them up, set up your user accounts. You're going to need to download Slack and VS Code. You're going to want to make sure that you can get into Canvas. Be prepared to take notes. A lot of classes are hands-on. However, we do find that a lot of our students do better in the class when they actually don't follow along. They take notes as I'm doing everything and then try and do that after class. Different styles of learning. Some people want to do it as I'm doing it. Some people learn better with notes. Classes are recorded, and we also run them through a transcript program called Otter AI, so that you can get a entire AI generated transcript of what was said in class, which can be really helpful for like searching for certain sentences and jumping right to the timestamps. You need to join Slack and Canvas. Slack, you join hackupstate.com. Canvas, you should have an email. If you don't, I will be hanging around after and can get you set up. And finally, start sliding time into your schedule. The most obvious is Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30. Should always be in class at that time, except for holidays, which we have on the schedule. But while that 12 hours is easy to identify, we warn, I hope, everyone that this is a 20+ hour a week commitment. So start thinking through, when can I get my homework in? When can I do some class reviews? When can I set that 2 hours aside and make sure I get my weekend homework done? Where can I reach out to Max and get some additional help? So start thinking about this program being an impact on your schedule, because any graduate here can tell you it's rough to get into the swing of it. And then you do, and you grind out for 6 months. And then you get to graduation, and the following Monday, you're like, what do I do now? because you have been attending class and so invested in this, it's almost like it comes to a screeching halt. So it is a lot of time, but I would not be here if I have not seen the personal outcomes from our graduations and our students. So it's a great program. Just make sure you start allocating some time for it. Okay, finally wanted to touch on this. There are a lot of people that you've heard of or from tonight. Jesse, Hack Upstate partner, Jesse is instrumental in pulling this program off. We would not be able to do it without him. Jesse has been here from day one, writing all of the grants so that you guys can go through this program for free. Organizing all the instructors, all of the TAs. Jesse pulls off a lot of things behind the scenes. All of these people are accessible on Slack. You've got me, lead instructor and dean of students. You're gonna really, you probably will start having nightmares with my voice in them. That is okay, trust me. They do start to go away. We have Aaron, Karen, and Max Shi as our program managers. Ariel and Karen are both graduates of the program. Ariel is a cohort 2 graduate. Thank you, cohort 2 graduate. Karen is a cohort 1 graduate. They are program managers, so they're helping Jesse and I behind the scenes pull everything off. But they are also TAs, and they're in the classroom teaching with you guys as well, so or helping you guys learn. So Laura's our career coach. Jason's our student success rep. He'll be reaching out to you. Jason's kind of our go-to person if you're having any problems with time management or things in life, or just need some additional resources, or just need an ear. Jason is around. He will be probably reaching out to all of you via email or Slack shortly, but Jason is an awesome resource. We've got instructors and subject matter experts. Nathan and Ryan will be coming in to teach both APIs and DevOps. We've got plenty of TAs that you've seen already. We actually had to close our list because we had so many TAs who had volunteered that we couldn't get them all into the schedule. So take advantage of TAs, take advantage of alumni, take advantage of any guest speakers throughout the program. Normally on Monday nights, with the exception of the first week, we can have a guest speaker come in. They talk for 30 minutes, and these guest speakers can be on a wide range of topics, from how to be an entrepreneur and do consulting work, all the way through to someone who's been doing full stack development for 20 years and wants to share their experience, to project managers, and all different kinds of experience coming through into this program. And finally, our Hack Upstate partners. Center State CEO has been amazing, along with Syracuse Surge. A lot of our graduates have been able to go into apprenticeships right after graduation, or actually right at the end of the program, due to the Surge program and the overlap that we have. So almost all of these partners we are in touch with weekly, if not monthly, and they are instrumental in pulling off this program as well. So I know a whole lot of names got thrown at you tonight. Feel free to reference the slide if you have any questions, or as always, you can always come to me or Jesse or any of the people on here for that matter. Last slide I think I have for you guys. This program gives you the tools to be successful. This is what the education I wish I had before I became a senior full stack developer, or any full stack developer for that matter. It is up to you to apply them through your capstone, through assignments, and other projects. I know you've heard a lot that this is an intense program. It's also a very rewarding program. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. That is not always the case with education. There are some courses that you go through, and no matter how much you put into it, there's only so much you can learn. There is never a ceiling in terms of learning and programming. There's always something new. There's always something you can do a deeper dive into. There's always a different way you can apply your skills, and that applies to the education throughout this course. The more you put in, the more you get out. Okay. So all I got for you guys. Any questions that everyone should hear? Yes.
If I would like to, is it possible that I could do like payment plan, like maybe monthly? Or pay for it? speak up, sorry?
If you want to keep the laptop at the end of the program, is there like a payment?
Yeah, we could figure that out. So, and as Max kind of said, so our past 3 courses, we've been fortunate enough where we have a partner that is able to, pay for all laptops. If for whatever reason that doesn't work out, or they can't, cover the entire cost of the course, yeah, you could basically buy the laptop at the end if we don't figure it out. But we're gonna do our best though to figure out that partnership again for this course. You can keep it.
Awesome. Okay.
Other questions? Next week's class is at the computer lab in the 2nd floor of the library, but in here at all in Lemoyne's campus. Yes.
Which building is that? What's the name of it?
We will include a map when we send out these slides, so you know which building it is, because I don't know yet either. Any other questions? Okay, when you head out, make sure you've got a monitor and a computer with you. If you have the 24-inch monitors, you should have picked up one of the black pouches in the back. That is the USB-C to HDMI adapter. If you have the portable monitor, there should be a USB-C cable in the box. This is our first cohort that we've been able to also provide external monitors in addition to the laptops. So if you run into any problems, Slack is going to be the best way to get in touch with me. I'm going to hang out for the next couple minutes. If you guys want to break into your computers or have any questions or can't get into Canvas or need help setting up Slack or any of that stuff. Otherwise, I hope to see you all on Monday at 5:30 at the computer lab at the 2nd floor of the library. Thank you, guys.